Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Evoke Strong Health Transformation Stories. My name's Elaine Dusetzina. I'm the host, and I created this show to feature the amazing stories of women going through or have gone through incredible health transformations. And it's my hope that by sharing the stories, you will also be inspired to do the same. I'm very excited for my guest today. Her name is Liz Hronek, and I'm going to go ahead and read her bio real quick before I bring her in. She is the founder of Misfit Boss, the body empowerment brand, and she's been featured on Good Morning America, Inside Edition, E! News, People magazine for losing half of her body weight and has kept it off for 10 years. And she's helping to do others do the same now through her health coaching. She is certified in personal training and nutritional therapy and has been working with clients for over 10 years. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and welcome her. Let me change my screen here. And here she is. Hey Liz, how are you? Liz is calling in from North Carolina, and I'm here in San Diego. So it's wonderful to be able to, like, in two different time zones, and still be able to talk to each other. How's it going?
Really good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to share your story with us, because it's pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's my pleasure.
So I'm going to go ahead, and I always like to go back in time. You've had so many articles written about you on different media, and I just want to go back to your when you were a child, how it was for you back then.
Absolutely. I was always overweight when I was younger, and I swam competitively as well. So, but I didn't fit in my physique. Obviously, you are always comparing yourself when you're younger to the people around you, and I was bigger. And at the age of 8, I remember going to the doctor, and that he had laid me up down, and he was pressing on my stomach, and he looked at my mom, and then he looked at me, looked back at my mom, and he said, "She's fat. You guys need to do something about this. I think that you should take her to Weight Watchers." And so at that point is when it was like, I knew that I was different, but he just like collapsed my world on top of me. I was like, oh my gosh. So it's not just me and how I'm thinking, it's adults are telling me that I don't fit in, that I'm different. And that was a pivotal point that actually shifted my mindset about myself. It was like it solidified my negative thoughts and my negative self-talk.
Wow, so that's at such a young age he wanted you to go to Weight Watchers.
Absolutely. And it was pretty torturous, not because of the program, but just to think about an 8-year-old going into a room of a bunch of most of them were older women that were extremely overweight, and my mom would drop me off. I mean, she didn't go to the meetings always with me, and so I just felt really out of place. And so it was more of like a punishment than an encouragement to improve my health and my body weight.
Right. So how long were you at Weight Watchers for?
I probably stayed there for a few months. I wasn't seeing any results, and I'm sure I know I complained a lot about it to my parents,
Yeah.
and so they decided to take me out. And like I said, I was super active. We were swimming twice a day for swim practices. It was just that I guess it was my nutrition, obviously a little bit of my genetics, but everybody else in my family was not thin, but they were the normal size. So they then got me a nutritionist who put together some nutrition plans for me, talked to me about food, which it was just always that I wasn't like everybody else, and so I couldn't eat the same things that they were eating. It was there's good and bad foods. It was just a really impressionable time in my life, obviously. And so then I had this poor relationship with myself and poor relationship with food, and it was like I shouldn't love my body. So it was very challenging time.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like, yeah, it's like you're just forced to do all of these things that you really didn't want to do. So, I mean, that's kind of, that is challenging, especially for a child, like you said, that's like, that's a time where you develop like your personality and who you are, and you're trying to still find yourself, and all of this are being shoved down like on you. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm supposing that this continued on through like your high school and then up to your college years.
Absolutely. I was pretty much, we moved a lot as well. So I was pretty much mad at the world. I didn't know why I had to be the person that was different. And then moving a lot, obviously, I wasn't always making quote unquote new friends, but never had a strong bond with anybody. So I was
Mm.
always, I mean, my comfort was food. And so, and I remained active. I was playing soccer. And I continued swimming throughout high school. I was actually um, team captain of this swimming team several years in high school. And so it was just a constant battle with like how to deal with people around me when I didn't already, like when I already wasn't happy with myself. And it was always that comfort and coping with food. So by the time I was a sophomore in college, I was close to 300 pounds. And then I was so disconnected with my body. I was living in my car. I was
Mm.
just, I was working two jobs, going to school, but, not taking care of myself at all. And my fourth year in college, I was getting ready for a presentation in interior architecture, which is like the big final presentation. And I was sitting in the computer lab working on some design work, and I felt like I peed my pants. And it was like, what is wrong with me? Like, I'm so disconnected with my body that now I can't control my bladder.
Mm.
Um, and I was in so much pain. My professor had one of my classmates walk me to the health center. When I got there, they told me I was pregnant. I said, "Yeah, that's great. I got to go to work, so I'm leaving." And she left me in the room. And the next thing I know, I have two EMS at the door telling me they're going to take me out by an ambulance.
Oh my goodness.
And then they took me to the hospital, and they were like, "You're in labor." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting." So I delivered her. I was in labor for 24 hours. Delivered her the next day, and the rest is history.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah, so I guess your water broke when all of that, when you thought that you were, that you went to the bathroom. Yeah, that's,
Yeah, it was a little crazy. I got there and I didn't know what I was going to do. Obviously, I was living in my car, and so I told the ladies, I was like, "Don't tell anybody I'm here. I don't know what I'm going to do."
mm,
And I was in an abusive relationship, so it was like all
mm.
this stuff was falling in on me, and I didn't know how I was going to handle it.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So right after your child was born, what happened? Like what did you decide to do?
Well, I was actually talking to the nurse about adoption, and her father came in
Mm,
and was like, "No, we're not going to do that."
mm,
Um, and so they rented us a car seat. We left with her, and we were bouncing off of couches basically for the first few weeks that we had left the hospital. And then my dad called me. He's like, "I'm out of my lease," because he was going to school, and so they were in. He just was renting a room. He's like, "I'm out of my lease, so you're gonna move here with me, and you guys can live. We'll just share a house."
mm, mm.
Um, So at that point, it was still a super abusive relationship. Um, One day, my dad came home. He saw a massive knot on my head, and he was like, "Okay, this is going to end right now." So he called the police, and had me put a restraining order on him. At this point, the baby was probably about a year old, and I was scared for my life.
Mm.
So again, was coping with food, and then by the time I successfully overcame that relationship, there was a restraining order, but that didn't keep him from coming around. So probably by the time she was a year and a half, it was like, it's time for you to start taking care of yourself, because you have another person to take care of, and so it's not just about you.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, it was like, not only do I need to take care of myself for her, but I need to be a good role model for her. And I don't want her to have to be bullied in school and feel like just hate her body. And then I also need to be able to keep up with her. So at that point, around when she's about 1.5, 2, I was like, okay, I gotta do something. So it started, lost about 50 pounds, and then I plateaued out. So this time I had lost weight several times, but I was determined to make this time work. So I went and got a personal trainer, and started lifting weights with them, and then decided I was going to do bodybuilding competitions.
Mm.
And so from that point on, I was like, I'm never going back.
Right. So I'm sorry, you cut off when you said that you lost 50 pounds after you decided that you wanted to be a role model for your kid. Is that what you said? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I lost 50 pounds. I plateaued out and got a personal trainer,
Mm-hmm.
and then started, and then decided, okay, after I lost 100 pounds, that I was going to compete in bodybuilding competitions. And then got my certification in nutritional therapy and personal training, and started Miss Fit Boss, because I found that not just the nutrition and the fitness is not what is going to make the lasting change. It's that third aspect that we incorporate into the coaching, which is the mindset shift.
Yeah, most definitely. You definitely went through a lot of hardships with your childhood, and then up to college, and being in just an abusive relationship. And I'm grateful that you were with your dad at the time, that he was able to get you out of it, and then that you realized that you needed to start taking better care of yourself, because you had a child to take care of, and that's who pretty much have changed who you are as a person. And it's very encouraging that you're able to come out of that, and just to see where you're at right now. So that's really, really encouraging to others, and I think that's what you're sharing to others now.
Absolutely.
How you've overcome that part of your life. So yeah, so thank you for sharing that. I know that was probably hard to do, but I wanted to. So how did you how long did it take for you to see the changes? When did you when you actually started to make, how big or small of a change did you do when you had that mind shift?
Well, initially it was just the nutrition. It's basically just focused on lean protein and veggies,
Mm-hmm.
and then the first change was the scale.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to see the scale go down was encouragement for me to keep going. And then I gradually added in some healthy carbs like oatmeal, sweet potatoes, rice. Sorry.
It's okay,
Okay, we'll get it. Okay. You want to say hey? Okay. And so after I added those in, I started lifting weights, and I had always loved lifting weights. I did it when
Right.
I was in high school. I mean, with the swim team, I would go in the weight room, and the trainer would be like, "No, you're going to train with basketball guys," just because that's what I love doing. And so I was able to train there, find my passion, and then once I got back with my trainer, it was like, oh, I remember this. So it was it was exciting to see the full circle.
Right. Just when it's just how you were as a kid, being really active and just pretty much coming back to that and discovering that like how much you loved being active, like working out,
Right.
and that's what.
It was really.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go. It was just empowering to be able to like not find out, but be reminded that there's still goodness in the past, and the passion was there. It's just shifting it and making it more, making a bigger difference.
Right. So how long did it take you to lose the initial 50 pounds before you decided to take on a personal trainer?
The initial 50 pounds was probably 3 or 4 months. I had a lot of, and I hesitate to say that just because a lot of people, I mean, a lot, like the clients I work with even, and even me, you want immediate gratification, right?
Right.
So I had 150 pounds to lose, which is why it came off a little bit faster. Now, after the 50 pounds, obviously it plateaued out. But by the time, it took me about a year to lose 150.
Yeah.
And then after that is when I started prepping for competition and just really digging deep into my passion, and that led me to losing some more, but it was less about the weight loss and more about the competition prep. We have a star in the making. She likes to be in front of the camera. So, but yeah, it was a nice gradual thing, because the other times I would see results and then it would come back on and more. So it was just really important to take my time and do it the right way.
Right. So when you were experiencing those like setbacks, how did you handle that? Like, how did you like move forward instead of being discouraged?
I remembered what I felt like when I gave up before. I also had that little girl that was like, "Hey, let's keep going," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm really tired." So between I don't like the word failure, but between not wanting to quit and the baby, just my real why, which is something we also address with Misfit Boss. We first finding the real reason why you want to do it is imperative, because without a doubt there's going to be challenging days, and those are the days that you're going to really have to dig deep and realize and remember why you're doing it.
Right. Yeah. We always that's what I'm learning, that you first need to have that like really, really strong motivator and that vision of who you want to be or who you see yourself as. And it's so important to have that. And it sounds like you wanted that your most important that your most important motivator was to be a role model for your daughter at the time. So yes, it's very, very, very encouraging to have that. So you said that you started taking, you became certified as a personal trainer and then into nutritional therapy. How far in were you at your weight loss at the time that you decided that I think I want to start helping others do the same? Were you already at your ideal weight that you wanted to be at?
Yeah, it was actually after my first competition because it still seems like I didn't have the right to be helping other people, if that makes sense.
Oh,
It
yeah.
still was like, well, you've just lost some weight. It's not that big of a deal. And then once I got on stage, it was like I've really transformed my life, my fitness, and how I actually live. And I've had the drive to push through and actually get on stage. So I felt deep down that it is my purpose to help others realize that it doesn't matter where you are. If you want to do something, you can definitely do it, and that doesn't mean that it's going to be easy, but it's definitely possible. So just to be able to share with people that, yeah, I was close to 300 pounds, and then I also got on stage and competed, and I've won in competitions. I just, it's really important to me because when I was going through like personal training, when I had personal trainers, when I had nutritionists, when I was going to Weight Watchers, it was like, y'all are telling me this stuff, but I don't think you really know like what it feels like.
Right.
And even if, like at the Weight Watchers, I know they have the people there that have gone through the program, but to be there as a child, it's like nobody can relate to you, and you just feel so alone. So to be able to share and let people know that they're not alone, and it's okay to feel like that, but just to definitely reach out, get a support group that understands where you are, where you're wanting to go, and then set that determination and just keep pushing.
Yeah, I think that we all go through through these experiences so that we can share it with others. And you're right, people would like to have someone that they can relate to, especially if they're going through the same like the same problems or the same issues, and especially with like weight loss. It's like a big weight loss, and usually it stems from something more than just like overeating. It's definitely like there's more behind just overconsumption of food, and that's where you understand where it's where the person is coming from, because that's where you are at. So you don't just look at a person and say, hey, you eat too much, and you understand it's like there's probably a reason why that person is, and that's how you work with with all of your clients with that. So you started your company, you're a body empowerment coach, Misfit Boss. How did you come up with that name?
Basically, it's just my transformation. So going from MIS to an MIS fit. It's just that journey, and I tell my daughter all the time, I'm like, you don't really want to fit in, but this kind of makes it, it kind of makes it fun going from just not fitting in anywhere to actually rocking it in the fit world.
Right.
So being a boss.
Yeah, what I didn't get a chance to download the picture of you and your the fitness competition, because like the before after is just amazing. Like it doesn't even say, huh, is that the same person? but I'll show a different picture of you as a before and after. So this is the one that you have a lei around you. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah.
Was that in college?
My 20th birthday. That was my 20th birthday.
Your 20th birthday, and then the after must be. I guess that those are your professional photos, so they must be recent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just amazing, and so that's the name of your company. I think it's pretty cool, like the misfit to misfit. And now you're doing body empowerment and empowering others to be pretty much be comfortable in their body, and to move towards like what they see themselves as, like being fit and being healthy, and by their own definition. I'm pretty sure that's how you're guiding others to do that. Well,
Yeah.
so how would you like people to get in touch with you? If anybody else has any questions, where's the best place to get in touch with you?
You can email me at Liz, Liz, at missfitboss.com.
Okay.
Excuse me. Or my social media is at the Misfit Boss.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. The Misfit Boss. I think there's a lot of misfit bosses out there, so you are the Misfit Boss, and I'll have that.
Me.
I'll have that in the show notes for the show. And just one more question that I have that usually ask towards the end is that what's your advice to others who are going through like a change right now, some type of change, maybe the same as you were back when you realized that you wanted to make a change? What's your advice for them to if they're still contemplating that change?
Absolutely. My advice is to just start. Don't wait for a perfect time, and don't expect perfection. Just take it one day at a time.
That's perfect. Yes, it's always it's always good to just start. I mean, you don't, like you said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can just be an experiment, see what works. It's always good to have those small wins to move you forward. And I think yours was this, you said it was a scale, and you're seeing this, like, even just a teeny tiny bit of like movement towards, your goals have pushed you to that, to where you're at today.
Absolutely.
Liz, thank you so much for taking the time out.
Thank you.
Your little girl is like, I can only see her hand in the camera.
I know. She likes to rub my ear when she's
sleeping. Oh, never mind. She almost seems like she's sleeping.
That's what she does when she gets sleepy, but she won't claim that she's sleepy. Are you sleepy? Nope. She won't claim it.
That's funny. Well, thanks again. Enjoy your day, and good luck with all that you do, and with all the other media you have to be at. I know you're so busy.
It's fun. I appreciate your time and everything that you do.
Definitely. Everyone, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.